Hello, my name is Joel Jesu, and I was born and raised in Uganda. And I had the opportunity later, after doing my master's in architecture, still at Georgia Tech, to stay an extra year and get my master's in urban design. And I just want to say that doing the urban design program radically changed the trajectory of my career. When I did the urban design program after doing ULI, the ULI Heinz competition, I learned a lot about real estate. I got really interested in the business of architecture and real estate. And I started doing a lot of courses, during my MSUD that related to real estate and business. And because of that, I now, work at Parkins and Will, doing business development, doing urban design work, doing architecture work, and really, it really helped me spread the ability for me to work in a global firm like Parkins and Will and be able to be part of different project teams. And of course, with that comes, an opportunity to make even a larger impact beyond architecture projects, the limitations of architecture projects, and really moving to larger scale issues that are really on the urban design scale. I am fortunate enough that, I help teach some of the urban design studios now at Georgia Tech. And I'm excited to see you all either in the fall or spring. And so I look forward to seeing you, and I cannot wait for you to join the MSUD program at Georgia Tech. You will never regret your decision. Thank you. Bye bye.
I was asked to record this video discussing why a landscape architect might find value in the Master's of Science in Urban Design program at Georgia Tech. And there are a lot of reasons why I think this is a really valuable program, specifically for landscape architects. I am mid-career, and I found that in my first degree and my time working, I have a really good grasp of the land and how different elements interact and how a design can impact not just place but also communities and ecology. However, I found that I was not as fully fluent in some of the resilience conversations that I wanted to be a part of. And so what I've really enjoyed about the urban design program at Georgia Tech is it's given me this much broader exposure. So it's a very interdisciplinary program. There are people coming from landscape architecture, civil engineering, planning, and by coming together in this really interdisciplinary way and drawing from students all around the globe and professors and class and coursework all around the globe, we get to really tackle these big problems together. And it's something I didn't have an opportunity to do in private practice. So it gave me a moment to step back and think about what I really wanted to accomplish in my practice. And I realized I wanted to broaden it. And so this is giving me the tools to do so.
I would like to ask you a few questions. What did you learn in MSUD that you were not able to learn during your studies and professional practice as a landscape architect?
That's a great question. So one thing that I've learned in MSUD that I hadn't learned in regular practice was how to really zoom out and look at this much larger system scale of planning and design. So instead of being constrained by a single site or a single property owner, we look at a region, a city, a bioscape. We look at an entire ecology and how the different systems interact and how we might want to interact with them to bring the best outcome. Oh, and I got to do an independent study that was really fun. I'm from Atlanta natively, and there's a site that I studied as an undergraduate, and then I addressed it again as a graduate student. So I got to actually do this from a research basis, whereas before, as an undergrad, it was just an idea of design. But now I have a sense of what's more realistic or feasible, but I also have the tools to do a proper research-based paper. And I did that. I did a literature review. I have a much better sense of why the tools that we've had at our disposal may or may not be working in Atlanta specifically, where we get, in this case I was looking at stormwater, we get really strong storm events. and we're on a land that doesn't really absorb the water very well. And it turns out that this is actually a good case study for issues globally, because we're seeing increasingly strong storm events and an inability to absorb stormwater sort of nationwide that we've already sort of experienced in Atlanta due to our natural environment. So it was really exciting to get to study that, not just from this theoretical point of view, but really to ground it in research that other people have done and build on that.
Sounds great.
So where I think landscape architecture is going in the future is that we'll increasingly have, we need to increasingly ground our designs in science and prove that what we're proposing is going to make a real measurable difference in the world in a positive way. So a tool that I've gotten from the urban design program is to learn how to do a proper literature review, how to understand what other people are doing, and how to then share the work that we're doing publicly so that others can build on that work. And that's very exciting to me, because I think that's exactly where landscape architecture is headed. But it's not something that I got as much exposure to in my first program of study. It's a very valuable tool for landscape architects.